Hey, it's JC. Welcome to Urban Knife Guy, where we explore the urban lifestyle and the jungle survival. Today we're going to discuss if an awesome EDC loadout has to be expensive. And I'm also going to show you how to put together a great EDC loadout for under $30 US. First, if you watch this channel regularly but have not subscribed, please do so to help the channel out. And if you'd like to support the channel even more, do check out my shop links in the description or pinned comment. Thanks a lot. So what I have in front of me is what I consider an awesome EDC loadout. Of course, I understand awesome is subjective. You may not think it's awesome, but I think the average person will recognize that it's a pretty decent loadout. And I also think personally that this is not inexpensive. It may not be considered super expensive, but I think it's fair enough to say it is expensive. And of course, I understand that expensive is also relative, and I know that someone watching this might look at this and think it is for peasants. But I think for the average person, this would be considered pretty awesome and also quite expensive, because a loadout like that would probably run you $400 to $500 US. We do have a titanium key bar over here with a tool insert along with my keys. We have a leather pouch with an Olight stainless steel, which is a bit more expensive than the regular Olights. We have a stainless steel pen, which also has a glass breaker. That's the pen over there. This wasn't that expensive, but it looks expensive. We do have the Pioneer X Alox Victorinox, semi-expensive. Leather pouch, semi-expensive. And we do have the Spyderco Para 3 with custom micarta scales. Again, I think definitely not a budget blade. Total package maybe about $200, $250 US just for the knife. So all in all, I think most people consider this definitely not inexpensive. So it looks good, but it costs a pretty penny. So the question is, does an awesome EDC loadout have to be expensive? If you want an awesome EDC kit, which is all matched up to fit a certain look, it probably will be on the expensive side. But that does not mean you need to spend a lot to put together an awesome EDC loadout. So on the flip side, I thought I would share with you how I would put together what I consider an awesome EDC loadout for less than US $30. All right, so let's get started. And I'm going to start off with a knife, because I personally think a knife is a central feature of an EDC loadout and is very useful. Now, getting a dedicated folding knife to fit a $30 EDC loadout might be difficult, but you can find budget knives. But I wanted something useful because I believe in functional EDC, not just lifestyle EDC. And if I'm looking for an EDC loadout on a budget, I'm probably going to look more for functionality. So I'm not going to spend my entire $30 budget on a knife. In fact, I'm going to spend just $17 for a branded knife in the form of a Victorinox Swiss Army knife, and this is the Waiter. So the great thing about the Waiter is you get a nice 84mm knife. You do have that full-size blade. You get a combo tool, which has that cap lifter, wire stripper, and a flathead screwdriver. You also get the corkscrew, because if you get the Bantam, which is a thinner model and even less expensive model, you don't get that. And I think this can be very useful. And I've talked about the usefulness of a corkscrew in a previous video. You can check that out in the card above or the link below as well. And finally, you get scale tools, which I think are very important for the experience of a Swiss Army knife. So you get a respectable Swiss Army knife for $17. And because of the corkscrew, in time, if you want to upgrade, you can get something like a scale tool or a corkscrew tool like this. This is the mini driver that fits in just like that, and that adds additional functionality. So for $17, you can get yourself a branded Swiss Army knife. Now, next part of a loadout, which I think can be pretty useful, is a flashlight. And I'm sure you've all seen all kinds of flashlights on YouTube. There are expensive ones and really expensive ones. And if you're on an EDC size one, they generally run maybe about $25 to $50. Well, this one I found for $8. Now, the brand is called Smiling Shark. And honestly, I'd never heard of that before. But I can tell you there are many Chinese brands or brands that we don't know made in China which actually are very high quality. They're probably from the same OEM factory for the well-known brands as well. And so you can get a decent EDC flashlight like this, which has multiple modes. You can see there's a strobe over there, off, on. This is less bright. So of course, it may not be as good as the big brand one, but this, I believe, is 2000 lumens, so it's really great for that price, and it runs on a rechargeable battery, which you can plug in with a mini USB cable over there. And so that's $8. So 17 plus 8.25, I'm left with $5. Now, what could I do with $5 to create a nice loadout? You can do a lot. And I thought the best way to round up this loadout is with something iconic as well within the EDC community, and that's an Elto Tin. Let's move these aside and focus on this tin. Now, what you put inside is basically what you can get together. I'll give you some tricks on where you can get some things really cheaply. You can also beg, borrow, or steal, so it's really up to you. But you don't need an Elto Tin, depends where you are. If in the US, for example, you can get this really easily. If not, then we some other brand of a breath mint, but I'm using this tin because it's recognizable. Now, first thing you want is some Ranger bands, which basically is the inner tubing of bicycle tires. You just get an old bicycle tire, you cut it, and you can fit them on. You can see it's even got the imprint over there. And really, you can just go to a bike store and ask them for the old inner tubings that they threw out, pick it up from them for free, and you can, cut them up. And because you really just need two bands like that, you definitely can get two bands even from an old tubing. And inside, I've got a whole bunch of stuff. Again, I'm not saying you need to get exactly these items, but I'm just showing you the possibilities and ideas for you to build your own kit. So I've got a whole bunch of things that cover first aid, some things that can help with inconveniences or minor emergencies. So I don't really consider this a survival kit, right? It is an EDC kit for convenience and emergency. I do have some first aid, and I've got basically some antiseptic cream in a straw which has been sealed up. So basically, go home, look for antiseptic cream, go to someone's house who has it, and get yourself some within a straw. And when you have a straw, you can continue using that straw and seal in a threaded needle. That's what I have over here, thread and needle. Matches. Now, of course, okay, these are more expensive matches, but you can use regular matches and get some nail polish, and you can cover up the matches to make them waterproof. But basically, you just need matches. I tape them together with some gaffer's tape. You can use duct tape as well, or electric tape. And I have that striking surface over here, and that's some fire capabilities. I've got two paper clips. These are really large 3-inch paper clips. I've talked about the uses of paper clips in the previous video. You can check that out as well in the link in the card above or description below. I've got cable ties, very useful for urban EDC. I've got a candle to go with the matches and the lighter. So I've got just a regular strike lighter over here, and I've got gaffer's tape all wrapped around, and I believe I've got at least about 3 feet here. Now, again, you don't have to use gaffer's tape. That's more expensive unless you happen to have that lying around. If not, you can use duct tape or carpet tape as well. Some cordage. This is paracord, but you could use shoelace or whatever you could find as well. If you've got excess paracord, great. Eye drops, I think, always very important in an urban environment because it gets dusty. You can actually go to an optician and beg them to give you one of these disposable eye drops. Just go there with a hand covering your eye, claiming if you've got some dust and you need their help, and they'll probably give you one. Some aspirin or Panadol wrapped up in aluminum foil, and I've got a collection of plasters or band-aids. I've got an alcohol swab and a safety pin as well. Yeah, and that's all that's inside, but you can see it fit all nicely inside. And again, it's really up to your imagination. These are just some ideas of what you can fit inside, but together with this and wrapped up with the Ranger band and with your flashlight and your Swiss Army knife, you have this awesome EDC loadout for under $30. Do you have any other suggestions to use as alternatives to create a cheap but awesome EDC loadout? Do let me know your suggestions in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content in general, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.